and TV shows for a long time. It's been my thing since I was a kid. And I'm sure you're asking yourself right now, what the fuck does X-Files have to do with Dogman? Honestly, absolutely nothing. I just really love the show, and it just so happened to be what I was watching when I had my Dogman encounter. So, I'm sitting at home. Wait. Let me say something else. Now, I had a few weird things happen around my property, but those things can be attributed to this pack of what I like to call gangster raccoons. These things are straight up terrorists. The little things roam all over my property, stay in and out of my trash cans. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this fact, but if you have a tangle with a raccoon, they will mess you up. Frankly, I'm kind of scared of them. Now, as far as my belief in cryptids like Bigfoot and Dogman, the whole thing just didn't make any sense to me. I figured, if these things actually exist and have been around in the woods for years, why was there no real evidence of them? One clear picture, not some damn blurry photo of leaves or trees. That's all I'm saying. Now, is there a possibility that these things could exist? Absolutely. There is a possibility. But you got to take into account a few things. They would actually have to survive the cataclysmic forces of nature, polar shifts, changes in the sun that cause the Earth's rotation to slow down and bring on ice ages. They would have to get by all those things. And then they would have to face the most powerful, destructive force on the planet, human beings. Now, when you calculate the percent chances of something like that happening, it's like 1 to the negative 365. Way less than 0%. Now, since I told you that, I might as well tell you another thing about myself. I absolutely love lasers. Lasers are fun. I've been into lasers for a long time as well. And recently I bought 5 30,000 megawatt lasers. Took me some time, but I was able to create a laser gun out of them. This laser gun projects a beam, 149,000 megawatts. Now, for those of you who are not well versed in geek language, a 10,000 megawatt laser is strong enough to project over a mile away. My gun is 14.9 times stronger than that. It can cut through aluminum and even steel if you let it sit there and burn it for a long time. Now back to my story. So I'm at home watching the X-Files when I hear the garbage can out back start beeping. And yes, I have alarms on my garbage can because that goes back to these gangsta-ass raccoons that are always going in my trash. I decided the best thing for me to do was rig my garbage cans with motion sensors, alarms, and lights. That way, they would scurry off into the darkness. So, I'm in the middle of my TV show. I hear the alarm. I figure it's just the raccoons. I should be able to go to the back window, look out, and see them scurrying off into the darkness, right? Nope. When I get to the back window, which is in my room that I like to call my laboratory, but it's really not a laboratory. It's just my den that I transform into a room that I invent things and build things in. I look out of the window, and there's this dog outside. Now, I guess you can say dog, but using the word dog is a bit of an understatement. This thing was about 3.47 times bigger than any normal dog that I had seen. And if I was to try and put that to a scale to make the picture clear to you, imagine taking a common army ant, making it 3.47 times bigger. Now you have an ant the size of a mouse. Well, that's what I'm looking at. A dog 3.47 times bigger than any dog that I've ever seen. In the science world, this is what we call a genetic outlier. Something on the far end of the genetic scale. Now, there's only 2 ways that something becomes a genetic outlier. 1, it survives, evolves, and adapts for millions of years. In my mind, looking at this thing, that was completely unfeasible. The other way an outlier is created is by man. Now, this creature is down on all fours, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is a pretty big damn dog. And then it stood up and reached for my floodlight. And that's when I knew I had a huge problem on my hands. But at the same time, this also presented a great opportunity for me to test my laser on something made of flesh and blood. So I grabbed my laser gun and headed out of the back door. And when I turned the corner, it was holding the light bulb in its hand. Can you say genetically modified? I would think so. I aimed my laser and shot it square in the chest. And this thing's initial reaction was one of confusion. It looked down at the light beam on its chest. And then its eyes slowly followed the beam back to me. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, this probably was a bad idea. I don't understand why this creature's not feeling this laser. It started to show its teeth and began to pin its ears back. And as it slowly hunched over and lowered its body towards the ground, I'm thinking there's no way this thing is not feeling this laser. No fucking way. Just as the panic started to set in, The hairs on his chest became inflamed. That's when it darted, moving to the left, trying to avoid. What you just listened to was one of the many stories that can be found at IamDarkWaters.com. Again, that address is IamDarkWaters.com. Currently, the newest album that has been released is called Dogman Undisclosed. Head on over to IamDarkWaters.com right now to hear this story and many, many more.